Hello and good evening. Tonight on Destiny's Dispatch, we are delving into creature concepts. I'm Vicky and I'm here with the co-host Dean. Say hello, Dean.
Hello, Dean.
Oh, that never gets old, does
It
it
doesn't,
really?
does it? No, no.
No. But we are here to fill you in on all the shenanigans we've been up to over the last, week since we've spoken to you last. Tonight, we are going to be sharing with you some updates to layouts if the cats aren't eating Dean's ankles, which I think
Do you
is
know,
going on
George,
right now.
George is just going ape at the moment. He's disrupting my desk. 2 seconds. Right. Anyway,
God,
he's leaving
can't get
now.
the staff.
We can't.
I thought he was head of marketing.
He is.
Have a chat to your son.
Oh,
So, not only are we going to give you an update on layouts, we are also going to delve into creatures and have a look at some of the concepts. And I want you to help us create something new. Yes. And then to round up today, we have got some fantastic news. Not coming soon. We've got dates, haven't we, Dean?
we have now got a date. We're putting, that's it. It's going in stone. This is a date we will not miss. There will even be a countdown back on the website leading to this date. And on that day, we will be live with Destiny's Dispatch, counting the seconds to the condensed complimentary.
You can remember what he's releasing. Let's just give up
I'm
on the date, Dean. You can't even remember what we're going to release. So yes, we will be talking about that after we've sorted out the creature concepts. Dean obviously needs another swig of coffee. We had a really good week this week, didn't we? Sunday night we were on with Cam on Bad News Bards, and we had an absolute whale of a time and we really enjoyed it. However, it has left us both a little bit tired.
It was a 2:00 in the morning our time stream, so we were up at about 1:00. We went to bed just after 9, back up at 1, but it was fantastic. Cam was the perfect host on Tennessee Tabletop Tavern.
Yes, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was a great interview. He's very excited. We've done a one shot. We got the second part of the one shot to do for them. But yeah, he was loving it. Some really good questions, and we got to exclusively show them the updated layouts based from the feedback we received last week and on X. So very exciting stuff, and we're going to show you those updates here, I think.
Yes, so I'm first of all, before we crack on with the updated layouts and then start sneaking into the creatures, guys, the way I'm going to do this today is I'm just going to run through everybody who's in the chat. Then I'm actually going to start posting a couple of things in chat, sort of asking you to give us some suggestions, things that you'd like to see in creatures. Because of the lag between when things get posted in chat and when we see them, this way, by the time we're reaching the point where we are actually creating a brand new creature with you, hopefully we've got some juicy stuff in the chat to feed straight into it. So with that, let me start off. Oh, it's my turn now to get inundated by cats. Hey, Jeffrem. The cats have. What's been going on today, Dean? What is it with the cats? So
I don't know, but we've had another big influx in chat. So yes, we have some introductions, some hellos, and some greetings.
So the first one into the chat tonight was Cyrus. Hello, Cyrus. We love seeing you here.
Good to have you here, Cyrus.
It is. And then, hang on a minute. We've got Louise.
Hello, Louise.
Right, else have we got? We have got an AGP. I'm going to start banning Dean from saying hello in the chat because I keep going, no, that's Dean. No, that's Dean. That's Dean.
Sorry, guys. You've heard it here. I have to be antisocial.
No, we like social, don't we?
It's great to have you here, AGP. And
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dankar, thank you so much.
Yay, we love Jeffrey. And look.
I know we
at
got a
this.
Vindica.
Hey.
Yes.
Hello, lovely
I've just
to see
seen
you.
you've just put out a video about you should have no shame killing your players or the players' characters, I think. So I'm looking forward. I'm going to have a good look at that one. A good watch of that one. I'm looking forward to that.
You do like that. And it started to absolutely bucket it down with rain outside, which could be the reason why all the cats have suddenly come in and started stomping all over us.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been absolutely fantastic to see you all here. And with no further ado, I think it's time for Dean to give you the latest update on our layouts.
Okay, what we're going to do is we go. So this is it. We have settled on the colors. We took some advice on making, instead of the gray highlights and batching in threes, to do alternate highlights and having a lighter blue that Vicky found. And I think it works really well. So this is obviously the Master at Arms character class, full 20 levels. Artwork. Thanks, Vindica, for your advice regarding blank white space. So I've done some tweaks on where the artwork is and stuff like that, just to try and fill up the page, make it look really smart. And I think hopefully we've hit it.
Yeah. So that's oh yeah, I'm over here, aren't I?
Yes.
So yeah,
you're in control of the yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
I know.
And just to highlight, yes, we are getting another piece that's going to go in there and there. It's the
human's going to be popping in there. Yeah.
Yeah, but this gives you a really good view of our character classes and our character races.
Yeah.
I could tell we're both tired. Look at us. Can't get the words out tonight, guys. Thank you. Oh, look at this.
And then the next one. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cyrus. Thank you.
Thank you, Vindica. That's really appreciate your feedback there.
You see, I always think it's Vindicta.
It is Vindicta.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's me and names. It's yes. Vindicta, of course.
No, you know something with me today, God knows, I've just been talking rubbish the whole day, which doesn't really bode well for tonight. Thank you, Jeffrey. And thanks, AGP. Look, Dean, it's Paladin Steve.
I know. He's come to love it despite never having played it. Well, Paladin Steve, wait till you get your hands on the Paladin. It's fantastic. In fact, all the classes are fantastic.
But we are biased, aren't we, Dean?
Yes. The Marshals definitely got some much needed love. And then moving on. So our weapons and our armor layout examples, I think, look really smart. Again, crisp, clean, easy to understand. Use of graphics. The top graphic on the left, the one with the helmet and the sword and the shield, that's by Elsie Freitas. So it's not one of the stock art ones. And we think it goes really well with the stock art we've used at the bottom there. Words are hard sometimes. Yes, words are very hard.
Yes. But not something you want to be finding difficult when you're actually trying to talk to everybody here on YouTube. Sort of makes it a little bit weird if we can't actually speak. So we will drink the coffee.
Yes, and yes,
we'll be fine.
Kenneth is much easier to say than Vindicta. So yes, thank you, Kenneth. Right. So yeah, I think all of that looks pretty cool. And as we move on, so the spells, and
I just wanted to mention something.
Go on.
So as we've been going through, and look at me flicking back again, something that Michael had suggested to us.
You flicked forward.
I know. Did I?
Yeah.
Ah, well. There we go. Can you? So if you can see on the side, we've got the sort of different color.
The false tabs, they were called. False
tabs, they're called. Of course, they've got something proper to call them. I call them pretty colors on the side of the page. But yeah, the false tabs, Michael suggested it so that we can actually have that running through the book. so you can easily find things.
Yes.
Look who we've got. We've got. What are you doing stealing my chat? That's my job. I got one
you
goddamn
were
job
busy
in this.
talking. I took over.
No. Hello, Vixen. How's baby Scholar? I hope he's behaving.
I hope so too.
I hope Big Scholar's behaving too.
Oh, Big Scholar never behaves.
That is true.
Yes.
But yes, so
Yeah.
so you can see here where we've got all of the different false tabs, which should make finding your way around the book nice and easy. It should make it really great. So you can, so if you're a spellcaster like I like playing, you can find all your spells at a flick of a page.
That's the idea. Yeah. And then coming on to the creature examples and the layout of creatures. And again, some lovely artwork by Elsie Freitas. The one before, under spells, you had the gnome wizard. That was by Jacob Kaiser. We always struggle with this surname. Kaiser, but that was by Jacob. Kazia, is it?
I'm going to go backwards. Where am I going?
Yeah,
no, wrong
go
direction.
backwards.
Wrong direction.
There we go. So the
but we do have a grease spell, Jeffrem.
We do.
We have. In fact, I got told off. I'm gonna veer off what we were planning to talk about just briefly, Jeffrem. I renamed a spell when I was editing, and I got into trouble.
You did. You did. What spell did you rename?
I renamed Disintegrate.
Why? Disintegrate's iconic.
Yeah, but I thought what I called it was really cool too. But I can't remember what it was, but it was cool. It was cool.
Anyway.
But yeah, so we definitely have
we got a grease spell, and doing things like setting it alight. All the rules are flexible enough that the GM will even have a list of sort of damage numbers that they can throw out on the fly if they need to quickly adjudicate how much damage setting fire to the grease would do. So so moving on. So this is the sort of collective orcs, which are goblins, ogres, and orcs. And again, artwork by Elsie Freitas. Love his piece. You've got the ogre looming over the orc with the big axe, and then several goblins around the orc as they look at the settlement in the distance, planning their strategy.
Yeah, I always like this because they're in the mountains looking down, and you've got the storm clouds rolling in as they've been moving through, using the storm as cover. I just love that. I think it's a really atmospheric piece. Jeffrem took out. Yeah, I do need to say that, Cyrus. She casts sea spells down by the seashore. Yes, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you, Cyrus? But look at this, Jeffrem took out 200 cavalry with that spell in one battle.
Nice.
Oh, I want to hear all about that story. That sounds fantastic. Right. So, talking of creatures. So this, my creature stat blocks used to be, before we went and revised down to the basic edition, and we're now expanding back out to the advanced at the appropriate point, were taking up a page. And I followed the kind of 5e mindset where everything had to be detailed, everything had to be in there. And you know what? It was wordy. Running a game, I had several sheets of paper, all with one creature on each sheet of paper, and trying to run it, trying to make sure I was using all the abilities and stuff. It was hard going. So this sort of squish, you can see here, only the most important stuff's listed. And the creatures work perfectly fine if I can talk over the clickety-clackety of a keyboard. God, you just can't keep them happy these days. You're quite right. Sorry.
It's okay. And now having this more condensed with the most important stuff. So if we look at the ogre's got a lovely cleave attack. Does that mean no other creature can cleave? No, if I want the orc warrior to cleave, there's morale. So morale is an important part of the game, and Vicky came up with this incredible way of doing morale last minute. She said no more changes, and then she made this change, which was a brilliant change. So creatures have morale, and in a combat encounter, I add all the morale of the creatures involved together. So say there was an orc, an ogre, and a ravager. That's 12 morale they'd have. Morale doesn't go down unless, so there's only two ways morale goes down. I can spend it for the creatures. So the creatures effectively spend morale to do special stuff. So if I've got a roll and I think that's terrible, I can spend a point of morale and re-roll it on the creature's behalf. And this is the creatures using some effort and energy to gain an advantage. So the ogre can do a cleave attack, but my orc warrior, he's got a long spear. Two of the party come up. I can turn around and say, do you know what? The orc warrior is also going to cleave. He's going to attack both of them in one round, but I spend a point of morale rather than it being a standard ability that ogres can do naturally. So the morale system just opens up everything with the regards to creatures. It allows you to do some fantastic stuff, really create some dynamic combats to adjust to what the party are doing, to get the monsters doing exciting things, because you're not limited to what they have on their sheet. But it's all balanced because morale is used to sort of limit what you can do. Now, of course, when morale reaches 0, the creature's morale is broken and they will look to flee the battlefield. So I've got 12 morale. That's a lot of morale. But say the Ravager got taken down pretty fast. The Ravager is a single target damage dealer. It's a skirmisher type, and it needs to be dealt with quite quickly. So the Ravager goes down fast. The beginning of every round now, I automatically lose a point of morale. In addition, D6 is rolled when the Ravager dies, and that's immediately taken away from my morale pool. So the more creatures that die, the more D6s are rolled and taken away from the available morale. And I then have this ticking morale each round because the enemy have now lost one of their numbers. But don't worry, if I wound any of the party, I get morale back because they're now wounding the party and going, yes, we can do this. So it becomes, from my side of the table, I've got this little pool of morale, and this is the thing I can use to try and bolster my attacks, to improve what the creatures are doing, but also it governs when the creatures decide that the combat is no longer going to be worth it, and they're going to look to retreat. Or in the case of certain creatures like summoned creatures, they will just vanish back into the aether. Animated creatures like skeletons and zombies, the magic will fade around them and they'll collapse back into the corpses that were animated. So this whole system of morale allows me to use these smaller stat blocks for creatures, but not restrict what those creatures can actually do. So I quite like it. I think Vicky's change made perfect sense. I had a slightly different one where morale automatically ticked down for every creature that was alive to try and replicate their kind of stamina being drained. But I think Vicky's route is far better. It's more natural.
I have to admit, guys, that not but a day earlier, I had laid down the law that there was going to be no more changes. And when I sat there and I'm really pleased with the fact we've just finished the first full end-to-end edit. So there's going to be another edit because there's nothing like a second edit, just to make sure. And, because it says there'll be a third edit, but, I've got to just make sure it's right. But I was going through, I was just like, I just don't get this. I don't get it. It doesn't seem to be natural. And I went, Dean, as I do. And yeah, then I got into trouble for suggesting a change after I'd laid down the law that there were no more changes. So there's no more changes, are there, Dean?
No more changes now. No, we're about to do the final edit and I'm going into layouts. There are definitely no more changes.
It's been really good. The editing is taking us a while, isn't it, darling?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's great because we've been learning how to do everything. Dean is learning how to do layouts. I'm learning how to edit. I am learning when I should use that versus which. And, that's just taken a bit of time, even though I always did really well at school and English was actually one of my top subjects. It's a long time since I've studied English. So, I've got my dictionary, I've got my thesaurus, I've got my grammar book, and it's just taken a bit of time to get back into it. And we're so, so chuffed. Oh, yes, we did, Paladin Steve. We called out Foxy. Foxy Vixen is here. Yes.
So,
Um,
if you wish, I've got Edgar Allan Poe's. I think that's it. We got a book with all of his sort of stories in. I can read some, and you can play them back to baby scholar. Help him
aw.
drift off into a beautiful sleep.
Yeah, knowing us though, we'd say something wrong and we'd get into trouble.
We probably would.
Totally, Foxy, totally. Absolutely. I couldn't
Yes.
agree with you anymore. No, there are no more changes. We're done. Basic edition is finished.
It
We
is.
have play tested it to death. We're not changing because there's got to be a point, and we'll come to this at the end where we're talking about our dates, but there has to be a point where we draw the line in the sand. And to be honest with you, it doesn't need any more changes. I think that morale was the one last thing that just felt a bit wonky. That's a technical term. And now I think it just feels completely natural. Well, you and I know, don't we, Foxy Vixen? They just have to do as they're told.
Yes. 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 I will definitely. We've been meaning to. We found this in
It's right behind you.
It is right behind me, actually. Hang on.
At the side. Round. It's right in the middle. It's right behind you. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Beautiful.
Look at that. That is just amazing. So yes, I'm going to read some of those. Right, back to the subject at hand.
I'm in trouble again for diverting us off.
Oh no, I think that was two of us then. That was two of us. So how difficult is it to come up with a creature that kind of has a bit of balance? Now, balance is one of those things where yeah, creatures as balanced as it can be. All you can do is give an indication of how kind of strong the creature is, and every encounter is going to be balanced differently. There is no real metric because there's so many variables. Whether the party ambushed the creatures, the creatures ambushed the party. You guys are such. Yes, thank you, Kenneth.
And Vixen says that she derailed the stream. It doesn't take much. I promise you.
Yep.
We are nerds, total nerds.
We are. So we got a few more examples here to go through, and again, lovely artwork. Some artwork by Jamie Noble, the rest by Elsie Freitas. Really love his black and white work. Jamie's color work is fantastic as well. But you can see there the Shadow Stalker, nice, quick, easy. It's got a camouflage. It can become invisible until it takes a hostile action. So these creatures, they will often have the jump on you. It can use a swift action to make a bite, but otherwise it's got claws, and you can see 8d8 claw damage, and that's because it's level 6 and it's a large creature. It's huge amount of damage there.
We don't need no stinking balance. I love it.
And I've just noticed I haven't updated it to the Vital Strike thing, but that's fine. Yeah, we're midway through updating creatures to the latest. The last
I haven't edited
change.
them yet.
No, they got to go through editing. The Acid Imp is another one. It's a great one. It's only a level 1. It's a martial, small little demon. Does okay damage. So you compare the two. A level 6 with a 1-star. The star system is used to indicate where a creature is slightly more powerful than it would be for that another creature of that level. So a large creature typically does more damage, so it earns itself a star. If it was a leader, it would have another star. If it was an elite creature, so these are creatures designed to work on their own, it would have another 2 stars. So the star system, similar to what they did in 1st and 2nd edition, is just an indicator that it might be a level 3 creature, but if it's got 2 stars, it's quite a powerful level 3 creature. So just to help with when you're designing combat encounters, understanding just what the creature's capable of compared to the party.
So Jeffrey Zenkar runs rifts for his
Yeah.
friends, and he's given up on balance a long time ago.
Do you know what? It's one of the things, third edition, it's one of the things I hated from third edition was the CR, the concept of CRs and balance, and then everything just became balance, balance, balance. Designing or having combat encounters is a little bit of an art form if you want to make them challenging but not overwhelming. Otherwise, with a very experienced group, sometimes the random encounters just sing. And it's how the party deal with something that could potentially be far greater than their capability, but with clever thinking, with good tactics, winning the day. And there's been a few, I think, with second edition, we did a lot of those. I always remember we were playing Ruins of Flan, and I randomized
I loved that. That
huge
was an
number of
amazing
kobolds,
campaign.
and they had you locked. They were up on these walls shooting down at you. You were locked behind,
Yeah.
rubble and in buildings. And I'm trying to remember the tactics you used, but you managed to win the day. But it was
It was
nail
hard.
biting.
I remember it
good.
was really difficult. It was hard work. There was just so much going on. And if I remember rightly, at one stage you were pinned down. Wasn't that when Dean was playing with us as well? And he did
Yeah,
something really
Dean Stone was
clever.
playing with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did, and it was a good use of a spell combined with something else, combined with a
Was
torch being thrown and a big
was it
explosion. And
his cleric of Torm, wasn't it?
yeah, it was.
Yeah, cleric of Torm. I remember we had some amazing things going on, but yeah, Dean has never thrown stuff at us that's balanced. Once he's got his players settled, then you're
Yeah.
in for a ride.
Yeah.
But this is the creature I absolutely adore on here. This one here, and I'm going to say it wrong, so I'm going to say it. The Sterculius. Is that right?
Sterculius, which
Sterculius.
is it's named after the Roman god of agriculture.
Cam.
Oh, hey, Cam. Yes, named after the Roman god of agriculture. And this creature, as vicious as it looks, it's designed to get through tough bones and to crunch rubbish and the refuge that people leave behind, including bodily waste, and to effectively dissolve of it and get rid of it. So it cleans sewers and stuff like that. The problem is when they get really hungry, they will quite happily eat alive creatures as well as the dead stuff around them. So they can be vicious things in the wild, but when they are tamed and kept fed, they're very good at keeping things clean.
I have to admit, we came across this for the first time when we were on a play test, and that nasty beastie went and grabbed one of the players and basically used them as a shield. It was like, "What? You're going to throw that at me?" Put the player in the way. I don't think so.
Yes,
it was like
the tentacle block is fantastic, and the player just took a ton of damage. It was
like, whoops.
We all laughed, well, apart from the player.
Who cried?
He cried, yes. And again, showing how certain creatures can be skinned. So even though it's a basic edition of Untold Destiny, we have kept some of the core stuff, things like getting treasure, if you want to call it that, out of creatures. So if you've got a skinning kit, you just make your dexterity test with the tools, and you can extract 2 pounds of fellhide if you're successful. So you can extract stuff from these creatures. You can then turn that fellhide. We've got nice, easy rules to turn that fellhide into armor. So you could make yourself a really good suit of leather armor. And then the ghoul. And this is where we really have taken a very, I say, old school approach. Oh, we got a Michael. Hiya, Michael.
We've got a Michael. So we've had a Michael and a Cam arrive. It's all very exciting here.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And then the ghoul, the paralyzing touch. This was quite watered down to begin with. And I then decided, no, there are going to be some creatures where they have a nasty ability. And if you fail your resistance against that, which is a constitution test, yeah, that's it, you're paralyzed. It might suck a little bit to sit out and not be able to do anything for D6 rounds. However, the combat rounds go quite quickly, and you'll be rooting for your party to save you or to get you, to help
up and running,
help get you up and running. And on top of
Yes.
that, if someone's got a healing kit, they can use that to try and remove the poison from you and get you operating. I'm sure it is in design. Yes, word.
I like that. I made it rewind. I'm like, all you're going to hear is us fall over our words again, say things incorrectly, have cats running around like manically, and basically us fall on our faces. So no, we're not going to. But yeah, the ghoul is nasty. The ghoul is nasty indeed.
Yes, but being an undead, you will note that it has vulnerable radiant. So any radiant damage done to the ghoul. So if you're a paladin, you're wielding a greatsword, which does d12. So you're doing 2d12. You hit the ghoul. You then activate your holy strike. So it converts your damage into radiant damage and adds another dice. So you're now rolling 3d12. I then say it's vulnerable. You're now rolling 4d12 damage against the ghoul. So with the right tools, you can take out creatures quite quickly in the same way that creatures can potentially take you out quite quickly. And I believe we did this, the ghouls, there were 2 of them in a playtest.
Yeah.
And one of the party members got paralyzed, but the paladin just kind of came in, absolutely blasted one of them. And then the other one was taken down by the other party members. So it was a great fight.
And one of the things I'd like to highlight, and one of the things about the sort of cooperative piece of play that we've got, is that certain people can actually help you with some of your tests. So you've got spellcasters can actually help you pass tests and stuff like that, give you another d6.
Yeah,
So
bolster ally spell
yeah,
is a great one.
ally.
Yeah.
When you've got stuff like this, it helps because you don't want to be paralyzed, and the party groups together in order to try and save you, and it's fantastic. And then you've got your healing kits which can remove paralysis and stuff like that, so together you can get over some of these challenges. But it's not to say it's the easiest thing in the world, because it's not. These creatures can be really nasty indeed.
So how difficult is it to create a creature? Well, you will get a template like the one up here and simple instructions. It's almost a menu choice going through, and then your imagination on top. And you will then have the creature at the end. And using something like this, the creature will be as balanced as it can be, but you can then tweak it. You can decide what it has, what it doesn't have, bearing in mind you want to keep the stat block quite small, and you have the freedom to spend morale to allow it to do a lot of other stuff on top. Tests, but I didn't study. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? I think you're muted.
I am muted. I said there's always tests.
Always. We do have level drain. Shall I bring it up? There we go.
Yes.
Yes,
we do.
We do. And it is nasty. It gives you stacking banes that if they reach a certain level, your character dies instantly. So it is a horrible ability. It is very difficult. You can't use a healing kit to get rid of it. It's got to be healed naturally over time. And it's really, really nasty. I haven't put in attribute drains because they're going to be part of the advanced system rather than the basic system. Anything that added a little bit too much complexity for the returns, I've left for the advanced system. But the advanced will have attribute drains, but we deal with it slightly differently in that it's a penalty when you use that attribute rather than dropping your attribute. And then if you have too many penalties, it has a much nastier effect. So we tried to make sure your character sheet doesn't change. There was nothing more irritating when we were playing 2nd edition then.
Rubbing out.
You'd get a spell and you'd get plus this, and your magic item will give you plus that. And then you hit anti-magic, so you lose all of that. But then you go out of anti-magic, so you gain it all back. But then you hit with the dispel magic. So anything that was spell related, and you were constant. I mean, the amount of times I was waiting for players to recalculate their character sheets.
That reminded me of Undermountain, the number of times that I sat there going, and now I've got to change all of this because we'd hit something and something on my character sheet had changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Undermountain. We went through that a lot.
Oh, that was months in that dungeon, absolute months. And yeah, you came out poorer than you went in.
We did. It was like we walked in within literally the first half hour of being in that dungeon. I went in as a high level mage, loads of magic gear, to virtually naked.
Yeah.
It was so annoying.
One bad trap, and most of their items were stripped off them, and they were going through Undermountain as a real challenge at that point. But that was great. That was really good. However, we're back to creatures. We're going off
Yes,
topic
get on
again.
with it. Get on with
So
it. Come on.
you got your template. Your template has a number of steps, and you start obviously with a name and description based on what you want to create. And then we move on to the next page. And this is where you start to get into the meat of some of the options. So you've got.
Can I make this bigger? No, I can't.
No,
can
you
I?
can't. You can't.
I cannot read that.
I know it is small, but this is to give an idea. I don't think anybody's going to read it properly, and this will be in the main book when we release that in October. So,
Oi! Dates
sorry,
at the end.
sorry, dates at the end.
Dates at the end.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
So you can see that there's a lot of creature types, from ancestrals, which are our version of sort of planar creatures. So they are the spirits that have become aware and now exist as entities within the aether. So if you ascended as a devout follower to a god, you could potentially be one of those one of the angels to that god, or one of the servants of that god, able to be summoned back and aid the allies of that god. Beasts cover all manner of beasts, including insects. You got your dragons, and we've got several categories from wyverns up to drakes, and then up to dragons. And dragons are the truly deadly creatures. The true
Scary.
dragons, true dragons are, you're going way beyond 20th level for true dragons. You're going kind of up into the 30th level. They are behemoths to behold, and pretty much deadly. Elementals. Eldritch are our version of aberrants. I've gone more back to the kind of origin of aberrants, which is the eldritch nature. So drawing upon things like, I'm trying to think. My brain. Lovecraft.
One needs more.
Thank you.
Yes.
HP
Lovecraft.
HP Lovecraft. So his kind of vision of the eldritch horrors. So these are entities that lurk in the deep aether, and with the ashfall and the aether being invigorated and charged, they are now sending their tendrils down into the world to infect and corrupt the minds of the powerful or the weak, to re-enter our world for whatever their grand plan is. And then you got your humanoids. Mythological's an interesting one, because there's a lot of kind of mythological creatures that don't fit into any particular category. And I'm thinking things like harpies. The statue of Talos is a great one. We've got that already done, a shard of Talos rather than the statue. The statues would be much bigger. But the shard of Talos, a bronze statue that came to life, a mythical creature. But we will have a lot of other mythical creatures from lore. And these have returned from because of the ashfall. So the dreams that people had, the legends they created, there must have been some truth in them. Maybe these creatures once used to exist on Earth, and they have now returned.
And I think if anybody's ever watched any of the Business Unusual we did, the Eldritch came through very much in that. It was very much an Eldritch sort of focus campaign, and that was really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And it definitely had some moments.
Oh, it did.
There were some really nasty creatures.
Yes.
But yeah, the mythological I love, because one of the things you will note on here that we haven't got is Fae. So we've not gone into we haven't got sort of the Fae sort of line, but we have got mythological. So a lot of the sort of creatures that very much turn up in like your Greek mythology and your fairy tales and stuff like that, things that could have been real, or maybe were just the imagination of children, but there they are, and they manifest. How do they manifest? And that's something for another day. But that is really key in this particular system, is our mythological creatures are here for a reason, aren't they, Dean?
They are, yes.
So yeah, then you've got your oozes.
Yep.
You just don't need to introduce oozes. Oozes are just terrifying.
Oh, they are. There's one ooze in the adventure we're planning to give out the first part of, and it's terrifying because you can hit it with a metal weapon and it could dissolve your weapon, or if you block it or brace against
Don't
it,
say give
it
them
could dissolve your armor.
spoilers. Spoiler alert.
It is spoiler alert, but it's a dangerous, A, it does a lot of damage, and B, it can destroy equipment. So it's doubly deadly.
But I don't know about you, when it comes to oozes and stuff like that, they've got to be something that are feared. There's nothing worse than having a lackluster monster,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And of course, our plants.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my God, our plants. We got nasty plants. We've got plants that will have you for lunch, for breakfast, and will serve you up for tea. We've got plants that will lure you in. We've got plants that will just blooming chase you. We've got all sorts of things along those lines. And a Medusa, yes, that would definitely
that's
fall
definitely
under mythological.
Yeah.
Those are Medusa. Every time people talk about Medusas, it always reminds me of the original Clash of the Titans. That scene, oh, terrifying, when they're going in and you've got all the statues around and you've got the Medusa and you've got that tail that rattles. Absolutely. I can honestly say that there's a lot of fantasy films I love, but the original Clash of the Titans, I think, is actually one of my number one films. I've got such fond memories of it as a kid. It was just superb. And that Medusa, terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, talking
And then
about terrifying, Dean.
Yeah.
What about our undead?
So our undead are nasty, not just because they can do things like energy drain, but because these are you got a couple of types. You got the incorporeal undead. So these are spirits that have refused to venture into the deep aether or be reborn. You've got the animated undead, so infused with necromantic magic to put a spark of their previous life in them to bring them back to an undead state. And then you have what we call the unliving, which are people who refuse to die. And that's normally because their souls are about to be awakened. They realize they have lived terrible lives, cruel lives, and they don't want to face judgment. Or they just want power and they don't want to die because that means giving up that power. So, for whatever reasons, these are people who find ways of living beyond their natural life. So, they don't effectively die, but they become unliving. They enter a different state and they have to feast on the recently dead or the living to be able to maintain that state. Yeah, Clash of the Titans is an incredible film, and it's from a Greek mythology point of view. There is so much good stuff in that film. We could go into a whole thing on pop culture and Odyssey, Nolan's Odyssey and stuff, but that's another day. That's another day.
I'm not even classing that as a film.
I don't think it's going to be
I'm sorry. There was never a remake of Clash of the Titans. That doesn't exist.
Yes.
And I am not watching anything unless it actually delivers upon the joy that is the Greek mythological books that we used to read when we were kids, and can actually bring that stuff alive and treat it with respect.
Yeah.
So that's my view. And I will rant. So we're going to move on to creature sizes.
Yeah, so you got your sort of normal sizes here, from tiny all the way up to colossal. Most creatures will be kind of small, medium, or large. You're going to get some huge, but they'll mostly probably be dragon or mythological. And colossal will probably only be the true dragons. Will be that kind of size. So yeah, it's great. You just pick what size your creature is, and then the creature roll. The creature roll Sorry,
Stop.
just
Right.
thrown a
Stop
bit by that.
reading. You can't read and speak.
I know. The creature roles indicate the kind of their combat capability. And there are typically 3 roles here, which is martial. So that is your frontline fighter or your tough creature, bears, and I'm just trying to think. Your bears, your wolves, stuff like that come under martial. Your skirmishers are your single target damage dealers. They dart in, dart out, typically very agile, and this will be things like your rogues or your shadow
Shadow
stalkers.
stalkers, yeah.
Yeah. And then your casters come in 2 flavors: your pure caster or ranged caster, and your melee caster. So think of it as your kind of arcanist and your divine casters, and that's the final role, and that pretty much covers everything. The role's important for only one reason: it dictates the kind of damage dice you're dealing with, spells or melee or weapons, and some of your stat adjustments, and whether you have access to things like vital strike or not. And then the creature's rank. Your gruds are your small squaddies. They got half the hit points and less proficiency rating than normal. Your normal is pretty much most creatures. Leaders are up from normal, and they typically excel when they have a lot of allies around them, because they can command the allies by using morale. They get more morale for more allies, stuff like that. So leaders are really, really good. Elites then are the individual creatures. They can have others with them, but typically they're designed to be able to stand on their own. And you fought in playtesting the Griffin, and the Griffin is an elite.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, another mythological creature, and the Griffin was just superb. It was an incredible fight. They managed to just take it down, but not until it swallowed one of your characters.
It ate Inky.
Yes.
It took our horse, Inky. We had 2 horses. One was Inky, one was Blinky. I will let you guess the inspiration for those names in the chat. Hello.
We got an Eric. Hey, nice
We
to
have
see you here.
Eric. Hello. So yes, we had 2 horses, Inky and Blinky, and this Griffin came down, stole Inky, and took him away and ate him. We were very upset. We managed to save Blinky though.
Yeah. And then finally, you just give the creature a level, and that's your kind of indication as to what power. A level 1 creature is not a challenge to a level 1 party. It's not on a 1-for-1 basis, but several level 1 creatures could be a good challenge to a level 1 party. So again, balance is, we're not trying to be exact on balance.
No, and I think that's an actual design choice, isn't it, Dean? We don't want GMs to have to sit there poring over books, working out. Jeffrem gets the prize.
He
We're gonna have to think of a prize now for Jeffrem. Yes. So yeah, we don't want to have everything so finely balanced that GMs are like wringing their hands when they're designing encounters. You know, some encounters could appear to be really challenging, but with clever thinking, you can actually get through them quite easily.
Yeah.
For those that might appear to be quite simple, you might find they're actually a bit more challenging than you first thought. The whole point of this is your dice count, but more importantly, your tactics and how well you work together count much more, in my opinion, from having play tested this now a lot. It definitely, when you see a party come together, it's so fluid. It's fantastic. Anyway, no, we were going to have Pinky and Clyde if anything happened to our other horses.
Yes.
We basically had them lined up because we were just basically getting them killed left, right, and centre. It's very sad.
It was. Right, let's move on to the next page. So you've now got the kind of start of your creature, and now using that information, you can set the attributes. And with creatures, as a player, you have a score between 3 and 18 that's modified by your race. With creatures, we focus purely on the modifier rather than the value of the attributes. So you haven't got a value to clutter up the character. It's what plus do you get when you're using that attribute. And it's quite simple. Look up the creature type, look up the role, make some adjustments, look up its size, make further adjustments, and then you set your proficiency ranks for each of those. And that depends on whether it's a grunt, normal, leader, or elite. And there's a lot of flexibility here now. So you can say, I want this creature to be really good at dexterous things, but not so good at strength stuff. So you got a lot of control over this. And then proficiency rating can also go up and down depending on the extreme sizes of the creature. So if you're in that middle band, it won't, but the more extreme you go on being tiny or being huge or colossal, you will naturally be rolling more strength dice, but a lot less dex dice if you're huge or colossal. And then finally, you can make your own modifications to this. This is just a baseline for you just to start with. You can say the creature's a little bit stronger than the normal, so I'm going to give it a +1 here. It's a little bit clumsy. I'm going to give it a -1 here. And then you end up with your creature's attributes and proficiency ratings. We can move on to the next page. Brilliant.
I have
Yes.
buttons.
Yes. And again, you just do some quick calculations on your hit points, multiplying the con, and typically by 4. If a large creature, it's ×6. If it's huge, ×8 or ×10 for colossal. Then you take the level and add the appropriate number for whether it's a martial, skirmisher, or a caster. And to give you an indication, these are the averages for a D10, a D8, and a D6 per level, with maximum at first level.
Everyone's going to be disappointed you haven't got a pretty graph.
I know. It didn't need a pretty graph. I think I've got a delivery incoming. I think.
You have. Lily's trying to deliver to you 8.
Yes. Oh, there we go. And then
what she just delivered, is that a red mouse or a blue mouse?
I don't know. She dropped it outside and then she came in very proud of herself. So her delivery is not quite, Uber Eats kind of level yet, but it's getting there. And then depending on the rank, you make one last adjustment to your hit points. So a leader has more hit points. The elite has double the normal hit points. So they're really tough. Your grunts have half the hit points. So they're quite easy to take down, as they should be. It then talks about your parry and dodge defense, how you work out your armor ratings, and then if there's a shield, how the shield modifies, or if you've got a creature with a shield-like ability. So, for example, the Demon Lord, a high-level leader, has these huge wings, and the wings act like shields. So the wings can be brought round to deflect missile and thrown weapons. So it makes the creature formidable in combat.
The trouble is, right, when we were playing with the Demon Lord before, and you were describing him, and he was bringing in his wings, and he was deflecting everything. When I was young, there was a cartoon called Batfink, and as soon as you did that, all I could hear was Batfink. I have my wings are like a shield of steel, and that was it. I couldn't take that Demon Lord seriously from that point. But that's just me because I'm old and weird. But look, we've got your morale system, Dean. You're very proud of this.
I am, and the morale, it just gives you what the base morale is for each of the creatures. So you can see leaders start with a bit more, but they have a further modification that's in the leader trait, and elites again have a further modification in their trait. And then it talks about the different movements. So you just have the movement and feat followed by a code indicating if it has any special movements, from climbing, spider climbing, swimming, flying, burrowing, earth gliding, and incorporeal, which allows you to shift through objects. So again, you're just picking the stuff that makes sense for the creature. And you can also refer each of the creature types will have within the monster manual, what do we call it? Allies? No, adversaries and allies.
Adversaries and allies is our. But that's for that. That's
for the advanced version. So in the basic version, the creature section will have a description of what is standard for each of the creature types. So you can have a read of that as well and incorporate that in. But again, it's all very sort of one-liners here and there, easy to pull together.
So, Low Eves would like us to make a beast.
A beast, right? I think. Okay, very interesting.
Oh yeah, you've got your visions and stuff.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad we are entertaining for you, Eric. I'm so glad you staggered into this as well. I hope you are enjoying it. And Kenneth, hope you have a good night's sleep.
Or you off to? Yes, I have work as well. Yes.
Yes, we all
You
have
get
work.
you get a good night's sleep, and we will see you soon.
Yeah. And then you just go through deciding what vision, any languages, and then resistances, vulnerabilities, and immunities. And often you'll find within the creature types, and we will have the creature types listed here for quick reference. Things like undead are typically vulnerable to radiant. Demons, ancestral demons, are vulnerable to radiant as well, whereas ancestrals, angelic, will be vulnerable to necrotic. So you get this lovely kind of, creature weaknesses and strengths that get woven into the creature you're creating.
In fact, so Michael's just asked us a question, and he has said
Mm.
it's for the end of the show, but I would like to tackle it now because I think it's a
Okay.
really interesting question because it's linked to our indie game spotlight. So I'm going to pop it on the screen and then I will read it to you because then it'll give you a moment to have a think. I have a question for the end of the show. Have any of your mechanical deep dives during Indie Game Spotlight changed the way you tackle your own mechanics? I can answer that with one question, one statement. No.
No, I'd
It
say that there is
one.
one deep dive that had me looking at something very different. And I thought, "Do you know what? That's a much better way of looking at
Which one
resolving
was that
this."
one?
And that is the way that
You're not
when
going to
we were,
get.
sorry,
You're not going to remember now, are you?
I am. It is Rutgers with Richard Witters and how they do initiative.
That's right. That was you really like that, and
I really liked
we
it.
have adjusted initiative. I'd forgotten
And we
about
did.
that.
So our initiative now, before it was you all roll initiative, I roll initiative for the creatures. You then go through this lengthy process, who's top, all the way down to the bottom, and then you got your little groups and you go from there. Initiative now
I would like
is
to say,
mm,
just before you go on, we did have grouped initiatives so that where players had grouped together, they could then sort of play around with their initiative and work as a team. So that was already in place.
yeah. And then what we did is initiative was changed so that you make an intelligence test, which is our initiative attribute. If you succeed at that test, so you get 20 or higher, you go before the creatures, before your opponents. If you fail that test, you go after your opponents. And it's fantastic. It works so well. It's quick, it's easy. I'm even going to build an optional rule in there. If you want to roll initiative at the start of each round, you can do it because it is so quick to do. And you quickly get who's going ahead, who's going behind, creatures go in the middle. And it creates some interesting dynamics. In the advanced system where we have threat tokens, so these are special tokens that allow you to do really extraordinary stuff during the round. If the whole party in the first round go before the creatures, the party will get a threat token because they are threatening against the creatures. They're moving so fast. Everybody's on board. Everybody's tactics are working, and they're coordinated to act before the creatures can do anything.
Yeah, I'd actually forgotten about that was
Yeah,
something that you discussed quite heavily with Richard at the time, wasn't
it
it?
was, and I
It was. I
really
do
liked
remember
it.
now.
Yeah, and but that's been the only thing. Otherwise, it's when we've been
Yeah,
doing
it's
our
nothing
deep dives
else.
with indie creators, it's just been admiring the way that they've tackled some of the same challenges we've had, and it's been interesting to see how many different solutions there are to similar problems. So
If I
it's
if I
been a
remember
great insight.
if I remember rightly, when we were going through Alpengards, he was describing a lot of the things that we wanted to fix in the same sort of way, but had taken a completely different approach to fixing it, which was absolutely fascinating, and that was quite exciting. But yeah, it was. I had absolutely forgotten about that discussion we'd had about initiative.
Mm.
That
Yes.
was good.
Should we deal with a couple more of the comments here? Because I think they're good ones.
No, of course we can. We've got a lovely one here from Louise.
Yes.
Could
And
you end up with an unliving beast that relies on speed and poisons? Because options like that sounds terrifying.
you absolutely could. And there is one. We have something called the undead beast. And it's this huge sort of, it looks like a bear, but it's got this massive rib cage. It's got flesh hanging off it, massive teeth. I don't think it's got the poison, but there's nothing wrong with incorporating something like poison. But what it can do is it can run forward and trample over you. And if you're not quick enough, you get trapped in the rib cage and you're now grappled in this rib cage, bouncing around. And the ribs themselves have these sharp, jagged sort of bits of bone. So you're getting shredded inside this creature as it's running around the battlefield. And that's a nice one. That's an unliving, or more of an, is it unliving or animate? I think it was full unliving, as in it's a fully powered beast that has refused to die, or brought back fully with necromantic magics. And yes, it absolutely fantastic. That's I like that. It wouldn't be a beast though. It becomes unliving as its or undead as its creature type.
So it was once a beast.
It was once a beast and no longer.
But yeah, so once a beast, now unliving.
Yeah.
Louise likes your trample.
Yes. It's, do you know what? With the way we set this up, the trample is a trait. So when you're putting the creature together, and we're going to come on to the traits, you just think of these really wonderful things you want your creature to do, some unique stuff. And it's a quick couple of lines, bang, in the creature, done. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'd say when Dean was approaching how you create your own creatures, one of the big things that inspired him was the fact that he wants to make it easy for GMs. So we're going to give you a plethora of creatures because we love making them. But at the same time, we want to give GMs the freedom to use their experience, use their imagination to bring their own sort of creatures to life. And I think this is a lovely little framework that allows you to do it without the GM fatigue that you get in some of the games. The whole point is we want GMs to be able to come home, do some prep for an evening session, and be able to go and do that evening session and have an amazing time. There is nothing worse than a GM who's having to spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing prep. This will make it nice and simple. I know there's a lot of words on the page, but the actual process of going through it's quite quick.
Yeah.
And it's nice and simple. It gives you flavor, and we all like creatures with flavor. So let's see. Eric's come up with something here. Let me have a look. It could have a flesh-eating bite, like a Komodo dragon infecting you.
Absolutely. And again, we got the diseased condition, but you can simply have a trait in there saying, if you're bitten, you become diseased. Whilst you're diseased, your flesh slowly gets eaten away, and it could be you roll the GM rolls 3d6, and that's how many days you've got left before your flesh completely gets eaten away. So you're now racing against the clock to try and cure this disease. Yes.
You're being stomped on again.
I am. So yeah, stuff like that. Fantastic. I like it.
And I think that's the one thing I love about things like this is the limit is your imagination. It's all about using your imagination to piece together something that's truly horrific. Ooh, I see a calculation question, Dean.
Oh, go on.
Do you have any sort of calculations that can occur to know how powerful adding various traits are? Maths for creature difficulty versus player levels, etc.
No. Your level, the creature's level is the biggest indicator of how powerful it is versus the party, because that will set things like how many hit points it's got, how much damage it can deal. When it comes to traits, there will be a guide on conditions that the trait has and what recommended level you should have for that trait to come in. So, for example, you could create a level 1 creature, and one of its traits could be energy drain. So you've created a powerful, you've given a creature a powerful ability that could kill party members, but it's only level 1. That said, it's only level 1. It can be dealt with quite quickly, but it's still quite a deadly creature. And when we look at the ghoul,
traits.
Yeah, we haven't got.
I thought languages was like, I thought we'd just skip to traits.
Yeah, traits is a good one. So this is where we talk about the how you do the traits, and this is just a load of example traits from different creatures. Again, when you're designing a creature, hopefully you will have been using creatures throughout the book, so you get an idea as to how the traits work and which ones are good and what they do, and then you just either alter the traits or bring them across, or mix and match, and that's it. So your traits, primal skin, for example, that's one that all orcs have. So they have an armor rating equal to their half the constitution +2. So that's half the constitution modifier +2. They have natural armor, and it's good natural armor. So ogres have one better because they're large creatures, so their armor rating goes up by 1. So we showed you the picture of the orcs, and the orcs aren't wearing armor because they don't need it. They are just savagely brutal, and their muscles and bone structure are just so, sorry, I'm just being nudged. Their bone structure is so hard that they can often mitigate damage coming in. Right, Lily. Lily, come on.
You see, we've got 5 cats, and you can guarantee at any one point, one of the cats will decide that they want cuddles. Now, you see, we did try and mitigate by we always make sure they have their treats before a stream. But now, obviously, Lily is thanking Dean for the fact that she got treats before bedtime. Lily is the sort of cat that when we started giving them treats before we went to bed, immediately started to try and put us to bed earlier and earlier every night. This will give you an idea of the intelligence of our cat. Lily is a tux. She is exceedingly clever. She's exceedingly naughty, but we love her to bits.
Oh, we do. We do. And she's now right in on my yes, Lily. Yes, you're looking delightful. In fact, can I?
Yes.
There we go. That's Lily. There we go.
Oh, isn't she just adorable? Yes. So yeah, our little, I think the rest of them are all just lying around. But yeah, they do keep us on our toes, don't they?
They do. They do.
They do indeed.
So there you go. You got the poison attack there. So if you got it like a creature with poison claws, you can say poison claw. When a creature takes damage from the claw, it must succeed at a constitution test or become poisoned. And the poison condition does continual damage to the creature. But you could also include in that, whilst poisoned, the creature also has a penalty to something, or also has its movement reduced, or so you can create some really interesting combinations. And you're not having to wade through or try and think how to word it, or make sure the syntax is right. It's all done using very plain English and common sense. So you should be able to knock up these traits quite quickly, or take an existing trait, modify it slightly, and just pop it into your creature, your creation. So yeah, you can see there's some. Right, Lily, I'm gonna have to put you down. Where was I going? So yes, you got some like the swoop, obviously flying creatures only, but that is typically on our wyverns, so they can swoop down. They can grab. So if you fail your strength test, and they'll just fling you up into the air, and you then take falling damage, and falling damage is nasty.
So Eric has also got a cat called Lily.
Yeah.
Apart from she's figured out how to get into the treat cupboard. Now that makes me chuckle, because what did Maxine do? We use a company called Untamed for our cat food, and we get the cat food delivered, and we also have a bag of dried food or kibble or whatever you want to call it, as well as all the wet food they have. And Maxine decided to promptly sit in the box, not alert Dean and I to the fact that she was in there, and she actually ate through the packaging to get the treats inside. So
Yep.
yes, we know very well. Oh, look, it's Melda.
Hiya, Melda. Great to have you here, even if it's for a moment.
Love seeing you. Can you have favourite enemies? Dean, tell Lily to behave.
She is being very, very, demanding.
Right,
can you have favourite enemies? If you're talking in the sense of the ranger, our rangers don't have favorite enemies. In basic edition, they get to mark enemies instead. So they choose their quarry. They can mark their quarry and then be able to track and tackle that quarry. The idea of favorite enemies kind of comes in with the infiltrator, because the infiltrator studies certain creature types. So the infiltrator starts understanding the anatomy of humanoids. And against humanoids, they can do a lot more damage, especially when they've taken time to study them.
But infiltrator, if I remember correctly, is an advanced edition character class. We don't have it in the basic. Is that right, Dean?
We don't, but we could convert it to the basic. What will happen is, and I'm jumping the gun again, on our backer kit.
No, stop it.
Yes.
Stop it. No, not for the minute.
Not for the minute. There we go. But at the moment, it is in the advanced system. But we could be persuaded to convert it into the basic system.
He's determined to give me more and more editing to do. He really is. And Jeffrem, our cats have us absolutely trained. We are the epitome of cat servants. They put us to bed. They tell us when to get up. They tell us when it's at. I'm not joking. We do everything that they want us to do.
Yeah.
It pleases to hear you guys repeat that falling damage is nasty. It's lethal. It's absolutely lethal. Falling damage, I'm not joking. I have never played in a group so terrified of falling in my life. We were trying to get into a cave, and falling damage in our system is so lethal that we were all terrified.
Well, didn't I'm trying to think, it was Aaron, he was playing, who was he? It wasn't the spellcaster, it was I forget who he was playing. It might have been the spellcaster. I think it was the Arcanist, wasn't it?
It might have been, yeah.
And he messed up his strength check to climb down this rope. No one did anything special like tying secondary ropes and helping the weaker members down. So of course he just slipped, crashed to the ground, a couple of wounds in one go, bang, brought from top hit points down to 0 into overflow, which meant he had 2 wounds. And you only need 5 wounds and your character's gone. So for the rest of that playtest, he was hobbling around because his movement was reduced. He had 2 wounds, and he was trying to make sure he was never attacked because he was just trying to keep at the back. And that was one that was only a small fall, if I remember rightly. It wasn't that big a fall. It was like 30 feet or something.
Yeah. It is really, for us, one of the things we hated was that, falling 100 foot seemed to be nothing. It was like quite pathetic. And Dean actually ended up, and in fact, we want to do I keep meaning to do a reel on falling damage. I think I've got one half done. And Dean actually did all of this research into what it takes when, how, if you fall, what is the risk if you fall, 5-10 foot of you actually dying? And he did all of this sort of research, and it was fascinating. But yes, we actually modeled it against the occupational health and safety falling statistics.
we did, but that's the advanced version.
It
In
is.
the
That's
basic version,
lethal.
it's just damage, and that's still lethal enough. In the advanced version, we actually mapped it so that if you fell from 100 feet, you had to
No,
be incredibly lucky to survive.
no, Meldath. No,
Yes, dad
no,
jokes,
no,
dad
no,
jokes.
no. I wouldn't worry about fumbling the keyboard. I've been fumbling my words. I've been fumbling everything tonight. So Louise, I really wouldn't worry. And Amazing Game Pro has indicated a stretch goal, which I think you were sort of alluding to,
I
Dean.
was alluding to.
And I'm like,
Yes,
can't
yes.
give me a chance. Oh, Featherfall.
Right, we do. It's a high level. Hang on. Is it in the basic? Did I bring it across to the basic? I think I did. 2 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, we can talk amongst ourselves. So AGP has got some nasty falling damage. Let's have a look. AGP in his system starts falling damage at 10 force and doubles every 10 feet. Well, that sounds quite nasty too.
So we do. It's called Slow Fall. It's a tier 3 spell, so you get it at about level 6. You get access to it. It's a reaction spell, so you can only cast one of these. If the whole party begin to fall, you can only cast one, and it slows the fall of one creature in range. So you'll be safe. You'll drift to the floor. The rest of the party go crashing to their deaths, but at least you'll land at the floor and be able to loot them.
Yes, AGP, we do agree with you. There is nothing like the law of physics.
Yeah.
And I think it's key. I think it's key to making the games feel real. You know, you want to have a sense of reality. You want to have that sense of peril. I think you remove that sense of peril, then you know it's very, very sad. And just that everyone knows, so I don't forget, there was a suggestion that we actually talk about movies that inspire us. That's now booked in July the 14th. We will be talking about movies
Good.
that inspire us. I was looking for something for that date, so now I've got something. Look at that. So yeah, you need that peril. If you haven't got that peril, then you become blasé with your characters. And it's not just the fact that they're heroes, it's just the fact that they no longer care whether something can hurt them or not. And that, I think, loses something as a player character. And I think it also takes away from the GM and what they're doing to work with the players to create a story. You take away that threat, then what are they actually doing? You know, it's sad. I like that sense of threat. I like having to think about how to make things a bit safer for my characters. I like having skills that will help me. Hang on a minute. Meldath says, "Can you save as I've fallen and slid down an almost 100-foot down a cliffside on ice? Scared the hell out of his dad and himself. I'm not surprised." But it's like everything, and it was quite interesting. We looked at these health and safety stats, didn't we, Dean?
We did.
And
we did.
There's X number of people that will actually fall down something like that and walk away without even a scratch.
Yeah.
But then you'll have someone else that will fall 6 foot or just off a curb.
A small percentage, but some people fall like 5 feet and die. And it's a very small percentage, but it does happen. And then you got the flip side where you can be several hundred feet, and it's another small percentage of people who survive. It's fantastic.
So yes, I can imagine falling down a cliffside on ice. I've slipped on ice myself. It's not pleasant, and it can get quite scary.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that you scared yourself and your dad.
Well, there was. So this is going back. Vicky and I were first dating. So we met at uni. We were first dating, and we were staying one New Year's with some friends in a place called Porth. They live up on a hill, and it had been the coldest it has been for a long time. There was ice everywhere, and the sidewalk was treacherous. So there was no traffic around other than the main road behind us, and we were walking up this slope. So we decided the road's got to be gritted. It's got to be safer. So we went onto the road and started climbing, and then hit a patch of ice. Our legs started to go. We grabbed each other, and we were just perched up against each other, trying not to move, looking down the slope where you got this main road and all these cars going back and
we
forth.
were just sliding. It's just so funny. Now it was funny. Wasn't funny at the time.
It wasn't at the time. No, no. But we were just clinging to each other and just trying to stop ourselves sliding. And we did, and we managed to get to safety. But it was quite scary. Yeah.
And look at this, Meldarth actually caught a tree, so it didn't keep falling, but was as sore as hell. So I used to do I used to work with Boys Brigade eons ago, and I also had lots of fun at things like scout trips and stuff like that. It was always good fun. Dean's got falling stories. He fell out of an avocado pear tree.
I did. It was about 40 feet tall, and I was I was a young lad trying to see if I could see the airport and see aeroplanes taking off. I couldn't see the airport, but I was swinging back and forth on a branch, and it snapped, and I went crashing down. Ended up weeks away from school, which was great, but no broken bones, no damage other than a bruised ankle that took its time to heal, so badly bruised. So I was so lucky, so lucky.
You were.
Yeah.
But, that teaches you to go looking at trains from the tops of avocado pear
I've now got a
trees,
fear
really.
of heights.
Yes. He's absolutely terrible with heights now.
Anyway.
Just before we go on, AGP says in Tales of Glory, there's no such thing as threat. There's no such thing as no threat.
Good.
So yeah. What were we waiting on about before I decided to become?
So we looked at traits. So traits is a great way of you filling out what makes your creature quite unique, special. Bearing in mind that morale can be spent to do quite a bit of other stuff. So your traits cover any spell casting. Has it got a breath weapon? Can it breathe fire? Can it become invisible? Stuff like that.
That's always good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see on there we've got the. Sorry, if you just quickly go back, you've got the leader and the elite traits. So this indicates a leader increases morale by 2 per opponent. So the more opponents it's up against, the more morale it gets to spend on its allies, and it can spend 1 morale after an opponent's turn to allow. That should be one of his allies. So this is some advice. This is something that we've been back and forth with, which is when you look at a creature, should the creature be saying something like you, because you become the creature, or should we just be referring to the creature as the creature? So with the leader, it says increase morale
language. So be specific. Yeah, be very specific. When we're so we've done all of this writing, and Dean's currently tidying up everything related to the creatures, and that we've gone, was it 3 or 4 times now? We've changed how we're writing this, and so what's the first option, Dean?
The first option is to refer to the creature. So, for example, if you had leap, let's take leap, swift action. It says you can leap up to 40 feet. This does not provoke opportunity attacks. What that was going to say, or used to say, was.
So, what's option 2?
Option 1 would be the goblin can leap up to 40 feet. This does not provoke. And option 2 is you can leap up to 40 feet. This cannot provoke because you're playing the goblin, so it's referring to you. What do you feel would read better or feel better, referring to the creature as the creature or referring to it as though you were the creature?
You know what we could do? We could pop a poll out. We could pop a poll out on YouTube.
Can do, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done that before. So,
no, we haven't.
Guys, we will ask that question. When we're discussing creatures, should it be you can or the creature name can?
Yeah.
All right. So we've got Squirrel Hermit in
Oh, hiya, Squirrel Hermit.
Hello. And we have another falling story. You can't beat a good falling story.
Go on.
So Low Eaves did something similar, but the branches break his fall and then could freely dislocate the thumb at will. Oh, oh, that hurts. I can
Oh,
feel that. You've made me go all sort of, ooh. Yes, I think the branches is what saved you, isn't it, Dean, on the way
it
down?
was. The branches definitely did. And as I said, I don't know how I didn't come away with more damage. But yeah,
It's
just
a good
got
job
lucky.
you can't dislocate your thumb. You'd
I'd
like the
pass out
really
each
end of
time.
it.
Look, I can dislocate my thumb.
I won't. You're totally right there.
Oh, it's very squeamish. Ugh. Right. Anyway, shall we move on? So, and now we get to choose the meat of the creature. It's attack. What can it do to attack? And this focuses primarily on the kind of weapon that the creature has. And then we look at what kind of damage dice is attached to that weapon. So for martial characters typically will have, a weapon or as a natural creature, and it's got some options. It could be a D8 or a D10 for a main weapon. If it's like a bear that just does one big attack, it could be a D12. So it gives you some guidance as to what dice that weapon should be. And then there's a table that says how many dice are rolled for that weapon. So you can see it over there. And then one thing, I haven't actually put it on there, but the size of the creature will also increase the number of dice. The bigger the creature, the more damage it deals. And this can be quite nasty, especially if it's a skirmisher, because against one target, skirmishers get to triple the damage. So they get less dice than, say, a martial character, but against one of their targets, they can hit pretty hard and deal a lot of damage. And then casters, again, very few dice, but casters typically get spells. And the spell dice are listed there. And again, it follows all the rules for spell casting. So your level will dictate kind of how many hit points you got and the average damage you can deliver. And that damage will vary depending on whether you're a martial, a skirmisher, a caster, and so forth. So your martials will tend to do less damage, but have far more hit points, better armor. Your skirmishers do a lot of single target damage, but are quite squishy. Your casters can do really good AoE damage, but are very squishy. So you end up with these defined roles of creatures. And it means then as the players begin to understand how... good night, Meldar.
Yeah, night, Meldar. Thank you for coming along.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. As the players get to understand the kind of roles that these creatures have, they have, you go into a combat encounter, you will already have the players now beginning to think, okay, what's the biggest threat? What's going to cause us the most problems? And you'll have the enemies putting their big tanks up in front to try and stop you getting to the weaker members in the same way that the party do against the creatures. And so tactics really come into play. With the damage, this system is designed so that if you've got, say, the Dungeoneer is a rogue, so they get the multiplier. A Dungeoneer stealths, gets behind, hits, one of the weaker but bigger damage dealing creatures that you're up against. They could potentially kill them in one go. And that is a huge swing in the battle. You're hitting their morale pool. You're now giving them this morale tick that they're losing every round. And don't forget, you don't have to kill all the creatures. If you drop their morale to 0, they're going to break. They're going to panic. They're going to want to flee.
And then you can hunt them down and kill them.
Absolutely, you can. They will still defend themselves, but they will be looking to try and retreat and get out of there. So all these
Unless
sort of dynamics create some exciting.
In which case yes, they're going to pummel you.
Certain creatures are immune to. They will lose the ability to spend morale points. That's it. So they can't bolster themselves. So you got them weakened at that stage, but they might not flee. So that's pretty much it, creating a character. You then got equipment and treasure types to put in, but
creature, not character.
Creature, yes, creature.
You could tell we're tired.
Well, it's midnight, so
it is, and I haven't given any updates yet on dates, and I've promised these fantastic folks the updates on dates. So you know what we're going to do?
We're going to give them an update on dates.
we're going to give them an update on dates. And because we haven't quite, because we waffled, I waffled, didn't manage to build out a creature with people, I'm going to ask people to drop me over what they would like to see. And Dean, I'm going to give you some homework of creating the creature and we can put it out there.
That'd be fantastic. Yes.
Okay. So dates. This is really important, guys. This is something that I'm really, really pleased to say that after a lot of concerted effort, we can give you some confirmed dates on what we are delivering to. So first thing, condensed rules. These are going to be all the stuff that you need to play. For first level, it will contain all of the rules for first level. It will contain your character classes. It will contain some creatures. It will contain some GM's advice. It's basically all of our stuff, but condensed down. All right, so you're not getting the higher level stuff, but it will be enough for you to get rolling.
Yeah, you can create your characters.
Yeah. Yep. We'll even put out some pre-gens so you can like compare what you're doing to the pre-gens. I really, this is going to be fantastic. It's going to be nicely laid out. It's going to be laid out in the ways that we've been showing you. So it's going to be nice. We're going to make it digital downloads so that you can get your hands on it. And it is completely complimentary, free gratis. It's yours to play. All right, so that will be coming out. We are going to do a countdown live here on Destiny's Dispatch on Tuesday, the 30th of June, which is not very far away.
It's not.
So that's going to be really exciting. So on the 30th of June, we are going to be doing a great big launch live. We're going to be taking you through what it is you can actually get your hands on. We will be showing you where you can get your hands on it. And we will be doing the countdown live here on Destiny's Dispatch, taking questions, having a bit of a party. And that's going to be on the 30th. So that's the first date I'm going to share with you. The second date, I've promised you 3 dates and you're getting 3 dates off me tonight. So the second date I am sharing with you is the adventure. So we've created an adventure. We did it for the advanced edition. So Dean's been working hard to make sure that it's reflected correctly for the basic edition. And that will be coming out on the 28th of July. And again, we will be doing a countdown live here on Destiny's Dispatch. And you will get the whole adventure. It is complimentary. It is free.
Hang on. You say the whole adventure. It's not the whole adventure.
Okay, it's the whole adventure that we've written for this particular piece.
Yes.
It's not the module.
It's not the module. It's the introduction to the adventure, the scene setting, and the first dungeon.
Which is massive. So you're fine. It's the first adventure. It's the first adventure part of the module. It is the gateway.
Yeah.
And that is coming out, again, complimentary, free, on the 28th of July. You will get it all of that bit. It'll be brilliant. You'll love it. And then we have something else, don't we, Dean?
We do.
We do. If I can get my mouse to work. There's too many things. There's too many cables.
As half of our chat have epileptic fits with the screen flashing around and pages jumping back and forth because Vicky's mouse is playing up.
Well, I've got a performance warning.
Hang on. Shall we go to that? Because we don't need the other stuff up and running. There we go.
No. And I wanted to share this. Where's the button? No, not that button. I'm just going to give up ever sharing things. There's the button. They move things around on Restream. They do it on purpose. There, that one. You can bring it back in now. I pressed the right buttons. All right, so our backer kit is live. Okay, it's live just for the landing page. So we will be formally launching the backer kit on the 13th of August. Not August,
No,
October.
October.
I've written down August. It's your birthday in August, Dean.
I know.
Yeah, 13th of October, we will be, again, a Tuesday, we will be launching. It's 125 days away. And that will be the backer kit for our basic edition. The aim is by the time we get to this actual backer kit that we will have everything already written. Well, it's already written, but we'll have it all edited. We will have the majority of the artwork done so we can deliver fast. All right. So guys, this is in 125 days. We'll be launching this backer kit. Please follow it. It's look for Untold Destiny and you will find it. You will notice the picture. It's the one that we shared today with our orcs by Elsie Freitas. And you'll see there, we've got 12 people already. We're really excited about this, guys. Please follow us. Please help us bring this to you. Please help us help you roll dice, because that's all we're about, isn't it, Dean?
Absolutely. And I popped the link into the chat. So if you haven't followed us already on Backer Kit, please do so, so that you're informed immediately that we go live. And yes, so this will be us sort of crowdsourcing at this stage. Everything will be written. This will be now about the stretch goals and getting more art into the books.
And printing
books into the book, and then covering the printing costs. So
yeah, you keep thinking all of the advanced stuff. So the advanced edition,
this is one big book
books.
with everything in it.
One book.
So everything you need to play. Yeah.
The monsters, some background to Kaseya, GM stuff,
and the players. Yeah.
All the players stuff, all one book. Can't wait.
And have you seen? I've just pinned it. Have you seen that good question there?
You've pinned a question. That's a brilliant question. What do you expect to be the duration of time between the release of Basic and Advanced Untold Destiny? So we are looking at 13th of October for our backer kit for Basic Edition. We will then focus on making sure we've got all the artwork, and we're going to get that out as soon as we can. So we're aiming at a reasonably quick turnaround. I will confirm that, because we're getting artwork as we go along and we're basically drip feeding it through. We're using our savings for it at the moment, which is great with our heating having blown up, as we now have to replace the whole of our heating. But, it's all good fun. We are aiming to get the Basic Edition out quite fast. Whilst that is then going through printing, we will be continuing the work on the advanced system. The advanced system is pretty much done. Again, it's about refining the language, and it's...
Yeah, so the advanced system, when we created the basic
we created the advanced first.
we did, but it was good because it's all about the journey.
Yeah.
And the advanced had a lot of language. It was bogged down in very verbose language. The basic edition kind of pared the language back and put a lot more common sense in there. And I think the system is far better for it. Everything is refined. You want a rule, you just get the rule. So it's quick to get up and running, and it's flexible enough to do everything else. So what we're going to be doing now is adding back the player options, which creates the advanced, and adding some of the more complicated conditions, things like elemental effects and stuff like that. So we will expand out the language. So we keep the language and the formatting like the basic, but we expand out the options, and we put in the longer character creation with your heritages, your family, your background, and stuff like that. So it's going to be a quicker job to get back up to that, but we're focusing on the basic and the compatibility. I am making sure there's 100% compatibility between the two. So you could take something in basic and run it in advanced, take something in advanced and run it in basic.
But one of the things I'd like to say is that So I struggled a bit with the basic because I love in-depth characters, and I absolutely adore our advanced system. I love how I can create characters. I love spending my time going, "Ooh, I'm going to do it like this," and then changing my mind and rejigging. And I have to say, I love it. Now, timescales was what you were asking. So our goal is to then take the advanced system to BackerKit or whatever crowdsourcing, the same sort of time. So October next year, we want to be in position where we're doing that, because you'll have had time to get used to our multi D20, you'll get used to all of our language, because you'll have been playing basic, and it will be a natural progression. And we have then got the rest of the adventure module. So we're building out the adventure module. So the piece that's coming out is the complementary is nice and detailed, but it's the first bit of a long module. So that will be coming out as well next year. So we're going to be putting that out and then going to BackerKit for this. We are then going to be building up to our additional, we're starting to grow out Kaseya. And 2029, we're aiming for the sci-fi system. We're not going to be doing things like a second edition of Advanced Edition. We're not going to be doing that. We are going to be building and developing content that goes with our systems. We're going to be growing our world of Kaseya. Now, the great thing about basic and advanced is you can use them with any setting you want, but we will be releasing the stuff with Kaseya. So if you want to play in our setting, you can. But if you want to take it and lift it and use your own setting, there's nothing stopping you doing that. And that will be the same with our sci-fi version, our basic and our advanced. All right. So that's something that we're a big believer in. We are also going to be releasing the Creative Commons license. So if you want to create something that uses Untold Destiny as the system, then you will be more than welcome to do so. We are a big believer. I think anybody who's seen what we do with the Indie Game Guild, with our Indie Game Spotlight, is we like supporting other indies, and we want to support anybody who wants to create for our system.
Absolutely.
So that's something we are both exceedingly passionate about. I think I got all my dates right, apart from I wrote down August instead of October. So,
yes, I think you have, yeah.
30th of June, 28th of July, 13th of October are the key dates. And we will be hitting those, even if Dean has to prop me up at the desk and just feed me coffee.
Yeah. Right. It is late now at our end.
It is. It's 1:45 in the morning. And someone's got work in the morning.
Yes, someone has.
Ooh. Jeff from Dencar has.
Oh, sorry. That's both of us.
Chat.
You do
I
chat.
have one goddamn job on this. You keep stealing it. Currently working on my own homebrew sitting, and I think Untold Destiny might be a good choice for it. You know something, Jeffrey? We'd love that. Yeah. There would be nothing we would love more than for you to actually create something that was work with our system. That to me would be a dream come true. I want our system to be used, and the more people that actually enjoy it and play it with their homebrew, the more it will get picked up, the more that people will play. At the end of the day, our goal is we want to roll dice, don't we, Dean?
We do. And if this provides you the framework, which is beautifully, I say balanced, it's beautifully constructed in a way that works together. It's modular, so that you can change the bits that you feel need to be changed to suit your homebrew. It's perfect. It'll be able to adapt itself to anything like that. But
if you need some help, if it's like, I'm thinking of this. Yeah. Dean's always good for a chat and stuff like that.
I am.
He does.
We can have workshops and stuff like that.
Oh, hang on a minute. I need to show this. We're jumping to an impromptu bad news bars for controversy.
Ooh.
Ooh. I want to come and now watch it because it's controversy and I want to see what's going on. But I'm going to have to catch up in the morning. Look, guys, it's really late here, so we are going to say goodnight. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. And it's good night from me. And it's
good night from her. And just in case you want to catch the Bad News Bards stuff, I just popped it in there, and the interviews in there as well. So yes, as much as I'd love to also pop in and have a good watch, it is late and we do need to get our sleep. So thank you so much, everyone. Really, really enjoyed your company. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and we will see you next week.
Workshops. Yes. We will sort something out, Jeffrem. All right, promise.
Absolutely.
And we're also going to set up some one-shots, but more about that next week.
Soon.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Yay.